All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. We're taking your phone calls tonight, 412-575-26 on the Borders and 2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. I'm getting ahead of myself. So give us a call. I'm going to go right out to Joe out in Penn Hills. Penn Hills gets precedent on this show because that's where I'm from. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
Good, thanks for calling.
Couple things. I've never been a hurdle man. I might as well tell you. Everybody gives him this credit. I'll just tell you why. Last year, he went on a four-man platoon with Meadows, and Meadows became Rookie of the Month, not Rookie of the Week.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, then he's sitting. We don't hear from him. We don't know what's going on. Then, you know, it's BS. Now, this year, they got a nice young kid that knows the strike named Reynolds. He shouldn't be platooning him. I know Cabrera, they have to rest him. But you can trade tomorrow. I don't really care. You can try Marte and Polanco in a package deal. They have never improved, Richie, in 5 years. And I'm disgusted with Polanco. And this kid Reynolds is a nice ball player. Somehow they'll ruin him. And one other thing. He come in the fifth inning with a pitcher. I look at the thing. They're batting .353, and he has a 7.5 earned run average, and he gives 5 runs. What is going on with this organization? They're a bush league. They're a minor league. I don't care about the injuries. You can't have those kind of guys up here. And if that's all they got, they might as well just wrap it up now. Forget 500. Who cares about 500? Let's win some games and get a playoff. It isn't going to happen in my lifetime. And that's it. And thank you for letting me vent, Rich.
Hey, thanks a lot, Joe. That's what you can do tonight is vent on this show. You know, the one problem with finishing around 500, you're always going to pick a middle of the pack in the Major League Baseball draft. And I think that's a bad thing because you're not getting the top-end prospects. At some point, you need to have a disaster of a season to get high-end prospects. And, you know, the Pirates were really bad, and they kind of screwed up all those drafts. They did draft Jamison Tyone and Pedro Alvarez, and Pedro Alvarez gave him a little something before, you know, he had his issues. But, you know, you're right. The Pirates need to be really bad. The 500 thing isn't working, just being average. I think fans are catching on. You're going to see a lot less people at the ballpark here moving forward. You know, and the problem with the Pirates, it's a cheap organization. There's no doubt about that. We're not hiding anything here. They don't spend any money. They didn't go out and get any depth this year. They could have signed guys. They could even sign a guy like Derek Dietrich. You know, Freddie Galvis was out there. You know, guys that they could have signed for some depth. You know, you could go out and get Dallas Keuchel. That would make the fan base pretty happy right now if you said, hey, we're signing Dallas Keuchel to a one-year deal worth $18 million. I think it probably takes something what his qualifying offer was, and then you prorate that. You're only paying him what, you know, $12 million or whatever that might be right now. That would energize this fan base again, and you'd only be tied to this guy for a year. Maybe he might do something for you. They need help right now. Yes, they don't have any depth. They don't have pitching depth. Mitch Keller, he had a tough outing yesterday. He got kind of back on his feet after that first inning. Probably nervous. You can't blame the guy. He might be better his second time around. Maybe you should have left him up here, gave him another shot. But they're so worried about guys' clock starting that's why he's not up here. Or maybe they think he's not ready. So, you know, he was ready enough for them to bring him up here. They didn't think Brian Reynolds was ready, and look what he's doing. So back to your first point, yeah, they screwed up Austin Meadows last year when he was struggling a little bit. They couldn't wait to get Polanco back in the lineup and back out on the field. And then, you know, when they were trying to platoon those guys, and they just eventually sent Austin Meadows back down when he was having this red-hot streak, and I think that mentally screwed him up. And, you know, he was probably checked out at that point. He doesn't want to be a part of this organization. He's probably glad to get traded. I mean, I saw some of the quotes that he said on his way out of here. So I hope they don't do that with Brian Reynolds, but they probably will. You know, when Corey Dickerson's ready, what do you think's going to happen out in left field? He's going to go back to left field. And that means you're going to have Polanco, Dickerson, and Marte in the outfield, and they're going to keep Melky Cabrera. I don't know if you're going to keep 5 outfielders or not. I would think that they would, but if you're going to have Brian Reynolds sit up on the bench up here instead of him playing in AAA, that's going to be their excuse. All right, back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Nunzio out in Braddock. What's up, Nunzio?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Good, thanks for calling.
No problem. I think they're going to make a package. They have some depth in a few positions. Outfield,
where? Outfield. That's about
shortstop.
it. Shortstop. But Eric Gonzalez is hurt right now.
Right.
Kevin Newman could be your future at second base, maybe. Yeah, they got some mediocre players. They have no depth at third.
There's another one.
They have no
should
depth
be
at catching.
starting every day. You can make some kind of package with those guys and get yourself like a number 3 starter now where they need them.
I don't think anyone would take these guys. Cervelli's batting 100, and he's hurt all the time. So who's going to take him? What are your options at third base? I mean, I'm a big advocate for calling up Brian Hayes right now. Put him at third base. Bring up Mitch Keller. Start pitching him. Let these guys work through it. It would be like what was that? The Penguins did a few years ago, the X Generation or whatever they called it. Do something like that. Keep Brian Reynolds out there. When Corey Dickerson is healthy, try to trade him for something. The guy I would try to trade is I'd play Corey Dickerson for a few weeks, hope he gets hot, and try to trade him at the deadline for something. Because you're going to lose him next year anyways.
Dickerson and get rid of Polanco. I've seen enough of Polanco.
Well, Polanco signed for a while for a team-friendly deal. They're going to keep Polanco over Dickerson.
And that kid that pitched last night, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, the kid that pitched last night, he had a disastrous first inning.
Yeah, Mitch Keller.
But after that, he settled down, pitched a heck of a ball game.
I agree, but the game was over. All the pressure was off at that point. The game was over. He had no pressure,
Well, I think he deserved another chance.
I do. I said that
faster than.
If you were listening 10 minutes ago, I said the exact same thing. I agree with you, Nunzio.
All right, brother. Have a good night. Let's go, Buck.
Okay. I think, I had Bucko fever there for a while. Let's go up to Mike in Oakland. I don't think I have it anymore.
What's up, Rich? I always love what you have to say. So
Thanks.
I want to try to rant for a minute. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know what that last guy's talking about with depth. Totally agree with you. They have no depth anywhere except outfield.
Outfield's the only one.
Here's what's concerning. I know you're talking about Keuchel. I'm sorry, man. At this point, this team, Keuchel's not going to make a hill of beans difference because they have nobody in the bullpen that can pitch other than Vasquez and Quick. They have no depth at Indy. They don't even have any depth, I don't think, at Double-A. I mean, literally, this management team has ruined the franchise, in my opinion, over the past few years because they can't develop anybody. They don't draft well, and they've left the farm system almost completely barren. And the fact that Cole Tucker, our first-round pick, can't even hit 100 in 60 at-bats in Triple-A, I'm sorry. You have to try hard to not hit over 100 in Triple-A. I mean, in the major leagues. I know he might need some more seasoning, but none of these guys reach their potential. It took Josh Bell to get a private hitting coach from his agent to turn his fortunes around because it seems like this organization can't develop anybody to make them real superstars. Brian Reynolds is hitting because he was drafted and developed by the Giants. So it's a completely different organization. He came and he looks promising, but they will probably ruin him, like I think you said. But the bottom line is, Rich, I'm sorry to vent, but, Neil Huntington's a joke. Frank Coonerly, I don't even know what the hell he does, but he gets paid a lot of money. And the whole organization's a disgrace, and they deserve what's happening to them. And Bob Nutting, I heard, was supposed to be out more, be visible this year. You haven't seen him at all because he doesn't want to answer any tough questions about why he's not spending money. And where did that $50 million band money, Disney money go? I have an answer.
All right. Well, hey, Mike, I love to hear you rant, but my producer cut you off. You make a lot of great points, especially tonight. I love to hear when people vent. And you're right, Bob Nutting, he needs to answer some questions. I tried to talk to him in spring training, and he says the same thing all the time. And he probably isn't around because, he's arguably probably the most hated sports figure in Pittsburgh right now. Maybe Antonio Brown and Bob Nutting. That's the race right now. It starts with him. I'm not blaming Frank Cooney. I'm not blaming Neil Huntington. I'm not blaming Clint Hurdle as much as I'm blaming Bob Nutting. Those are the guys that I'm blaming. You blame all of them, but you're blaming Bob Nutting more than everyone else because he's the one that is setting the standard. He's the one that says, here's your budget. This is how you have to work. So I'm sure if he said, go spend what you want, you might see something better from the Pirates. So it starts at the top. All right, we're going to take more phone calls, more tweets coming up next. Stay right there.